If you're an American citizen living abroad, you are eligible to vote in the United States elections. I think we all know that we should vote. The question is how. American leaders and American laws can still very much affect you when you're living abroad. Think about having to file taxes every year with the IRS, other financial laws, if you have a United States-based business, or even just what the general future of America may look like if and when you plan to return. But I think we all know that we should vote. The question is how. And I think that's the thing that's keeping a lot of us from getting started on it. It's definitely what kept me getting started from voting from abroad at first, because I was very discouraged and it seemed very complicated. Now I know this is not the most fun topic or the simplest, but I'm gonna break down how to vote from abroad in 3 simple steps. And if you follow along with me on this video, you can be registered in the next several minutes that it takes. So first, start by checking if you're actually already registered to vote. You can do this on vote.gov. I'll leave this link and other important links in the description below, so definitely check those out. Once you get to the vote.gov homepage, then you can just select your state or territory to find out if you're registered. So I'm just gonna use Texas as an example. There's some information about how to register, but you wanna look here, how to check your voter registration Texas election website. So it would be another state if you're registered in another state. And then that'll bring you to a page where you can enter in your information and check if you're registered. If you're having trouble with the form figuring out whether or not you're registered, you're probably not registered to vote. You'll need to get started with the federal postcard application form. I left a link for that in the description below. So if you want, pause this video, go click that link and follow along with me so you can get registered to vote today in the next few minutes. So the form looks something like this, and most of the information that you're gonna put into it is fairly straightforward, but there's a section here where you're gonna have to say you're a United States citizen living abroad, and you have to explain whether you're intending to return or not. If you have any intention of returning to the United States, select the US citizen living outside of the country and I intend to return option. If you click that you're uncertain, you may not be able to vote in local elections. You'll be most likely restricted to only voting in the federal elections. Then you just fill out the rest of the personal information, print the form, sign it, and then you're gonna send it to your election office. But don't worry if you don't know where that is, just follow along with the website and it'll figure out where your elections office is. You may or may not receive confirmation that your form has been submitted. I didn't the first time I submitted it, so I reached out to my elections office to confirm. To find out how to contact your elections office, stick around to the end or skip to the end of the video and I'll show you where you can find your election office. So you've gotten registered to vote and now you wanna get on to the actual getting your ballot and voting. But first, I wanna introduce myself because maybe you're thinking, who is she and how does she even know what she's talking about voting abroad? So I'm Julia, I've been living abroad, actually in Portugal since 2019, and I have registered to vote before from abroad, and so I'm hoping to help make this process simpler for you. Now let's get back to the most important part of this video, getting your ballot and actually voting. You can confirm how to request your ballot from your election office, and you can find that information on the actual federal postcard application form that you submitted. But in Texas, for example, law requires that the ballot be sent at least 45 days before the election, so you don't have to request it there. But every state is different, so make sure to check. Once you've gotten your ballot, fill it out and submit it. Now, the way that you submit it varies a lot by state. Some states let you submit your ballot online, and other states, like Texas, make you mail in your application like it's the 1900s or something. If you have to mail your ballot and you don't think it's gonna arrive on time, or if you didn't receive your ballot at least 30 days before the election, then you can actually use the federal write-in absentee ballot. The only thing is this will only allow you to vote in federal elections and not local elections. Once you've submitted your ballot, you're done. Honestly, the most difficult part is just getting registered. And if you followed along in this video, you're probably already done, but maybe you still have questions. The best resource to getting answers to your questions about voting in your specific county is your elections office. You can find out which office that is on the Federal Voting Assistance Program website. There's a link in the description, but quickly I'll just show you where you can find this. Go to the Election Officials tab and click Contact. Then scroll down and select your state. We'll use Texas as an example. And then put your city or your county if you know it. And and then you'll have all the info you need to get in contact with your elections office and ask any of the questions that you have. Just to touch on a few more things that you might want to know, the federal postcard application guarantees that you'll be able to receive your ballot at least 45 days before the election, which will give you enough time to mail in your ballot if you have to do that. Also, your voter application through the federal postcard application form doesn't last forever, so you do need to renew it. When I first applied for the federal postcard application, it was in June of 2020, and then it expired at the end of 2020, like December 31st. And then I waited for whatever reason until a voting period again to renew my, to submit another federal postcard application to vote from abroad. You do not have to do that, and nor should you, because you don't need to rush this process. You can do it as early as January. You can also do it later in the year closer to the voting period. Just make sure you leave enough time to mail in your ballot if you have to do that. Still have questions about voting from abroad? Ask me in the comments below. I'd also love to hear any of your experiences. If you voted from abroad, if you have any tips, feel free to share them with others in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Ciao!